You would think that an NFL football team like the Houston Texans would have a singular, simple focus on winning football games. I met years back with Jamie Root, who was the president of the Houston Texans, and I found out differently. Yes, the gifted athletes on the field with amazing physical prowess battle each week of the season for the ultimate goal of a victory. Yet there's a second element to the organization that we don't witness on television. The Texans' approach challenges everyone serving in any capacity, whether on the field or in the front office, the stands, or the parking lot, to consistently display what Jamie referred to as impact. Now, impact was chosen to serve with a deeper meaning. The acrostic stands for the primary mission of the organization. The I stands for innovation. The P stands for passionate. The A for accountable. The C for courage. The T for team player. But I omitted the M on purpose because it caught me somewhat off guard. The other 5 letters were powerful, specific in intention. It was understandable for a sports team. There are words used in different meanings or contexts in a variety of mission or value statements. M, however, stands for memorable moments. Jamie explained it's the convergence or intersection of the Texans building winning teams and creating memorable moments that provide great experiences for the community, and more importantly, for each person who comes into contact with the organization. A few seasons ago, I was blessed with the opportunity to experience the M firsthand. My wife and Tommy and I were invited to watch the Texans take on the San Diego Chargers. It turned into more than a football game for us. For over 2 months, our schedules have been pushed at a hectic pace, almost chaotic. Travel, projects at work, a new puppy who's made up of pure love that's mixed with mischievousness, with energy enough to power a small car, and a center of the universe mindset. Our schedule, along with social and church obligations, robbed us of precious times to simply enjoy being together. That Sunday afternoon, we stepped out of our normal day-to-day challenges into a space where letting go and relaxing became our biggest priority. In our rush, push world, it was nice to just stop and focus on each other. As I looked around, it was easy to see that we weren't alone in memories being created. On one side of us sat Doug Hall, who is the vice president of the Houston Organizing Committee for the Final Four basketball tournament. On the other side was George Pistolas, who is the former president of the Houston Rockets and former president of the Houston Astros. Accompanying both were their sons, enthralled with watching the game, but more importantly, enraptured with the way each father focused undivided attention to them. The intensity in the father's eyes as they spoke with their son catapulted me back to a weekend in my freshman year of high school, when my father took me to watch the LSU Tigers and New Orleans Saints football games. Unfortunately, neither team won their game. This was well before the current Who Dat generation as Super Bowl champions. It wasn't the final score that chiseled that experience into my mind 40 years later. As Mike Ballas, the former chairman of Chase Bank in the central United States, stated when I spoke with him, that memories are created when we step outside of the routine. Interesting advice coming from a leader of one of the most largest corporations competing in seemingly stoic environment of commercial banking. Choices were made at the Texans game by at least 3 families to focus attention on someone important to them. Simply by paying attention to the wants and needs of someone they care about in a setting or circumstance that was unique or special created a precious memory. Thanks to the members of the Texans organizations, the dads and I helped in creating our special moment. I'm not talking about the quarterbacks, running backs, linemen, or coaches. I'm referring to the special servant hearts of a wide cross-section of people who could have simply processed us in getting our tickets, finding our seats, or serving food. Bonnie Marshall, who was the executive assistant to Jamie, embodied the M. From our very first interaction, she consistently exhibited a desire to ensure that we had all the information necessary to find the easiest routes to our seats. This was no small task, considering that I had reversed the direction of the map and ended up walking the wrong way around Reliance Stadium, which could also be described as the long way. Now, in some future video, I may write about and post about the conversation between my wife and me, given that she was in boots that were not made for walking. This did provide an opportunity, however, to interact with 4 different guides whose gestures and desires to get us to our proper destination spelled out M. At the entrance to the section where our seats were reserved stood a beautiful young sentry whose smile exploded from her face. The enthusiasm that poured from her eyes and mouth conveyed she truly seemed excited to see us. Bonnie was waiting for us inside, and although she had a number of people to care for, from her introduction to her parting words after the game, we were made to feel that we were her top priority. If I polled everyone around us, my guess is all would have had the same impression. The people in charge of the food not only had their attention focused on the food being served, but each made eye contact and smiled as they tried to help in our selection of what we were going to indulge ourselves. Every move signaled that they were not just working there, but rather served there. A young girl about 9 or 10 years old stood on her toes to look over the counter, attempting to request her beverage of choice. Instead of the response she received was not, "Here you go," the beverage attendant fixed her eyes directly, lovingly on the eyes of the child, beaming with care and energy and enthusiasm and helping her get the exact drink of choice. She had an almost angelic look on her face that made the young girl feel important and respected. What struck me that day was the way we were cared for and served. I was mesmerized from watching what was happening around me, witnessing amazing, memorable experiences taking place everywhere. In today's time, we have to be careful. Technology does not create memorable moments, but only captures or chronicles them. In a time where 24/7 connection can be maintained through email and text, this is an important concept for us to wrap our arms around. We lose opportunities to have connection with people rather than simply be in contact. Email lulls us to sleep at times, offering expediency over emotional impact. Electronic praise for a job well done has its place, but not the significance of a short phone call or even a hallway interaction. Memorable moments are not strictly the victories in our lives. As a matter of fact, focusing strictly on victory as the measuring stick often blinds us to situations that could be significant. Did you empower someone to stretch, to acknowledge a role as having importance or impact, offering support and encouragement as adversity was being faced? Small moments to us, but possibly huge to someone else. Have you sent someone that is important a personal note lately? Yes, I mean handwritten. Try this with your kids as well as your clients. Have you gone out of your way to help someone learn something personal about a client? Do we stop when someone is asking for our attention, or do we send signals that they're simply squeezed into our demanding schedules? It's surprising how memorable we become by simple things not requiring we move mountains. Yes, as leaders, we're charged with generating bottom line results. As parents, we carry the burden to provide and to protect. Loyalty, true connection, and the ability to be viewed as different are significant in the minds of our clients, our staff, and our families as our highest priorities. Our challenge for 2021 is to find creative ways to send this message. When we do so, we create the extraordinary.